morning to all the dear students. I welcome all of you on Gate Chemical Planet, and I would like to thank all the students who subscribed my channel. In my last lecture of process calculation, I discussed the overview of the subject. In this lecture, we will cover some basic concepts related to units and dimensions. So first we will discuss physical quantities. So student, if I ask, is affection, your thinking, if you're sad, if your mood is not good, all these quantities are physical quantities? Then your answer is no ma'am, these are not physical quantities, because we cannot measure our thinking, our sadness, our hatred. So student, all the quantities that can be measured are known as physical quantities. Physical quantities are divided in two categories: the fundamental quantities and the derived quantities. Fundamental quantities are also known as the primary quantities or base quantities. For example, length, mass, time and thermodynamics temperature all are known as base quantities, or in a simple language it is known as dimensions: L, M, T and theta. Derived quantities are derived from fundamental quantities. All quantities are also known as secondary quantities. For example, area, force, volume, acceleration, pressure, energy, all are secondary quantities or derived quantities because they all are derived from primary quantities. So student, I think it is clear to all of you. Now we will come on units. So what do you mean by unit? As we all know that every physical quantity can be expressed as a product of pure number and a unit. If I say 5 centimeter, here 5 is a pure number and centimeter is the unit for length. So if we are measuring length and it is in 5 centimeter, so it is a product of a pure number and a unit. Okay, so all physical quantities are measured with respect to standard magnitude of the same physical quantities, and these standards are known as units. For example, meter, it is the unit of length; kilograms, it is the unit of mass; and second, which is the unit for time. Okay, so I think unit is clear to all of you. So unit provides standards to measure the quantities called dimensions. Each unit is associated with a dimension which is a unique. A unit refers to one and only one dimension. For example, meter is the only unit to measure the length, and length is dimension. Similarly, kilogram is only unit to measure the dimension mass. So student, there are some properties of units. So a unit should have contain. So a unit should have contain some properties. A unit should be easily available and reproducible. They should be very well defined, should be invariable and should be accepted to all. So these are the properties of units. So now we will come on dimensions. So what do you mean by dimensions? The power of base quantities that enters into the expression of a physical quantity is called the dimension of the quantities in that base. For example, if I consider force, force is equal to mass into acceleration, and acceleration equals to velocity per unit time, and we can write velocity as a distance per unit time. So we can write length per unit time divided by time for acceleration, and for mass, the dimension for mass is capital M, and for length capital L, and for t it is t minus 2. So force, we can write the dimension mlt minus 2. The dimension of force is 1 in mass, 1 in length and minus 2 in time. Therefore, by dimension we mean the measurable extent of a physical quantity. For example, 100 meter. Here dimension is length and unit of length is meter. So here I have given a note for physical quantities, their units and dimensions. So student, here physical quantity is mass, its unit is kilogram and dimension is capital M. For length, the unit is meter and dimension is capital L. For time, similarly, the unit is small s, second and dimension is capital T. For temperature, the unit is Kelvin and dimension is theta. So don't be confused with units and dimensions. Okay, it is clear to all the students, I think. So now we will discuss the sets of fundamental quantities. The physical quantities are those quantities that can be measured completely independent of each other. Student, do you have any idea about how many types of fundamental quantities are there? So there are total 7 fundamental quantities and they are mass, length, time, temperature, amount of substance, current and luminous intensity. So student, these are the fundamental quantities. The SI unit is very important here because in mass and material balance calculations, you have to remember all these things to calculate the mass and energy balance calculations and numericals. So here the mass is in grams, in CGS it is in grams and in SI unit it is in kilograms and the FPS unit for mass is LB. So I have given all the conversions here. You can remember all the conversions, important conversions useful for solving the numericals. You can learn all these conversion from here. The most important physical quantity is the amount of substance in process calculation. We will use mole for this and also the temperature, time, length and mass. So we have to focus on these 5 physical quantities and current and luminous intensity is less importance in this subject. So please remember all these conversion factors because these are very useful in numericals. Okay, so now we will come on next topic, which is the derived quantities. Derived quantities are those quantities which are derived from the base quantities. The first one is the acceleration. Acceleration is change in velocity per unit change in time and its unit is meter per second square and it is a vector quantity. Second derived quantity is the weight. Weight is equals to the mass of substance into the acceleration due to gravity. So its unit can be written as kg meter per second square and it is also equal to 1 Newton. So what is the meaning of 1 Newton? 1 Newton is kg meter per second square. Similarly, the force. Force is also a derived quantity and force can be written as mass into acceleration from the Newton's second law of motion and 1 Newton equals to kg meter per second square and it is the MKS unit for force. Remember this unit, it is very important for calculation purpose. So Newton is the force which when applied to a body having a mass of 1 kilogram gives it an acceleration of 1 meter per second square. So this is the definition of 1 Newton. Remember the definition of 1 Newton. Sometimes in interview it is asked what do you mean by 1 Newton. So you should remember the definition of 1 Newton also. So other units for mass is in CGS units. 1 Newton equals to 10 की power 5 gram centimeter per second square, where gram centimeter per second square equals to 1 dyne. So 1 dyne equals to 1 gram centimeter per second square, and therefore we can also write 1 Newton equals to 10 की power 5 dynes. All these units are very important for solving the numericals. So please, if you don't have data, collect the data from my notes. Okay, so now we will come on other units of force. In FPS, the unit of force is 1 poundal. 1 poundal equals to 1 feet into pound per meter square, and 1 poundal equals to 0.01383 Newton, where 1 pound equals to 0.543 kilograms. Just remember what is the relationship between the pounds and kilograms. Okay, so now we will discuss work. The fourth derived quantity is work. Work equals to the force into displacement, F into S. So we can write work equals to Newton, because the unit for force is Newton, and for displacement the unit is in meter. So where 1 Newton meter equals to 1 joule. So what is the meaning of 1 joule, student? 1 joule equals to 1 Newton meter. In CGS, we can also write this unit in CGS. In CGS, we write 1 joule equals to 10 to the power 7 erg. The unit of energy is also joule. So remember this thing. What is the unit of energy? The unit of energy is also taken in joules. Okay. So the next important property is the heat. The fundamental unit of heat is calorie, not joule. Remember this thing. It is very important. The fundamental unit of heat is calorie, not joule. And 1 calorie equals to 4.186 joules. The heat flow is written as joules per second. So it is capital J per second. Joule per second. It is capital J divided by S. Okay. Don't be confused. It is capital J, or kilocalorie per second. We can also write 1 joule per second equals to watt. So 1 watt equals to 1 joule per second. So student, it's my request, please remember all the units, because it is very useful to solve the numericals for exam. Okay, if you don't have this data, so please go with this notes. Okay, thank you so much for attending this lecture. If you like this lecture, please share and subscribe to my channel and join me on Telegram apps. Thank you so much. The next property is the power. Power is equals to the energy per unit time, and energy is in joule, and the unit of time is second. So we can write joule per second, and joule per second is already equals to 1 watt. 1 horsepower equals to 746 of watts. Students, what do you mean by the kilowatt hour? The kilowatt hour means it is the unit of energy. And what is the definition of kilowatt hours? 1 kilowatt hour is the energy consumed when a device of 1 kilowatt power runs for an hour. So this is the definition for kilowatt hours. The next derived property is density. Density is equals to the mass of substance divided by the volume of substance, and the MKS unit for density is kilograms per meter cube. So student, density is an intensive property or extensive property. Then what is your answer? Density is an intensive property. It means it does not depends upon the mass or size, and also the extent of the substance. But density depends upon the temperature, pressure and amount of substance. So take one example. If there is a small beaker and some oil is filled in it, and if I poured this oil into a big container, then what will be the density? Density will change or not? So your answer is density of oil will not change by changing the size of the container. Okay, so now I think it is clear to all the students. Move on the next slide. The density of air equals to 1.2754 kilograms per meter cube at 0 degree Celsius or 100 kilopascal for dry air, and density of water equals to 1000 kilograms per meter cube, or it is also equals to 1 gram per centimeter cube at 4.4 degree Celsius. In energy and mass balance calculations, this is very useful, so please learn all these things. So next derived property is specific gravity. The specific gravity of substance equals to the density of substance divided by the density of reference substance. What do you mean by the reference substances? The reference substances are generally taken for liquids is water, and for gases it is air. Other intensive property is temperature and also the pressure. Extensive property is volume. So student, please remember this. Okay, it is very useful data for solving the questions. Now move on. Next derived property, it is flow rate. It is very important for questions. Amount of fluid flowing per unit time is known as flow rate. If I say what do you mean by the volumetric flow rate, then your answer is volume which is flowing per unit time, and the unit is meter cube per second. And what do you mean by the mass flow rate? Mass flowing per unit time, and the unit is kilograms per second. Okay, and the molar flow rate is very important because it is come in questions also. So moles per unit time, and the unit is mole per second. Okay, so learn these units and their formula also. Mass flow rate equals to Qm. If I take mass flow rate as small q and m is in subscript, and volume flow rate equals to Qv. Then what is the relationship between the mass flow rate and volume flow rate? Qm equals to Qv into the density of the substance. So learn this formula. Okay, for solving the question you required this. Okay, so now move on next property. The next property is pressure and its representation. So what is pressure? We all know that pressure is defined as the force acting on unit area. Okay, so pressure equals to force per unit area. And what is the unit for pressure? Newton per meter square. And 1 Newton per meter square is also known as Pascal. Okay, so what is the unit for pressure? The MKS unit for pressure is Pascal. Pascal is also known as 1 Newton per meter square. Now there is a ways of representation of pressure. How we are representing the pressure? Pressure is represented in two ways: the absolute pressure or the gauge pressure. Pressure is normally measured with the help of a gauge, and gauge pressure equals to the pressure in the vessel minus the local atmospheric pressure. Or we can also say gauge pressure equals to the absolute pressure minus the atmospheric pressure. So now we will discuss absolute pressure in atmospheric pressure in later on slides. Okay, so gauge pressure does not indicates the true total pressure. Student, it is very important because sometimes in interviews it is asked what do you mean by the gauge pressure, absolute pressure, atmospheric pressure. Okay, so if you don't know, you can learn from these notes. Okay, so gauge pressure does not indicate the true total pressure. Gauge pressure is a relative pressure. It can be negative in case of vacuum. So this is a very good notes for gauge pressure. You can learn from here. The absolute pressure can never be negative. Absolute pressure can never negative, but in perfect vacuum it may be 0, but not negative. The actual atmospheric pressures varies with location and elevation on the Earth's surface. The atmospheric pressure at the mean sea level is 101,325 Newton per meter square or Pascal, and it is called the standard or normal atmospheric pressure. What do you mean by the vacuum? Vacuum refers to subatmospheric pressure, that is the pressure below the atmospheric pressure. So vacuum is the pressure which is the below the atmospheric pressure, and it is expressed in mm of Hg or torr, 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 or mm of Hg. The absolute pressure equals to the atmospheric pressure minus the vacuum. So if I say rho gh, what is the meaning of rho gh? It is a gauge pressure or atmospheric pressure or absolute pressure. So rho gh is your gauge pressure. Okay, rho gh is gauge pressure. And if I say pressure here is P naught, here pressure P naught equals to 1 atmosphere, and at a depth of h meter, at this point the absolute pressure equals to the atmospheric pressure plus the rho gh, and where rho gh is the gauge pressure. Okay, so if sometime it is written rho gh, so the meaning of rho gh is simply the gauge pressure, not the absolute pressure. Absolute pressure is always the pressure at a point P naught plus the rho gh, where rho gh is the gauge pressure. Okay, so now move on the convergence, some important convergence for pressure. It is very useful in GATE examination, so please learn all these conversion. Here 1 atmosphere equals to 101.325 kilopascal equals to 101.325 Pascal. 1 atmosphere equals to 10.33 meter of H2O, meter of water. 1 atmosphere equals to 14.7 psi, where psi is pound force per square inch, lbf per inch square. It is very important to learn. 1 bar equals to 10 की power 5 Pascal or 0.1 megapascal. So these are the conversions you should learn on tips if you are preparing for GATE exams, because very useful for calculating the numericals. Okay, so now I wind up this lecture here, and if you like my lecture, please subscribe to my channel GATE Chemical Planet, and thank you so much. Have a nice day. In later on lecture we will discuss some questions, okay, on unit conversion with the help of tutorial. Thank you so much.